My name is Austin.
My name is Carter.
My name is Joe.
And my name's Kenny. Today we're going to talk with you about our senior capstone project, Rent Remedy.
Did you know that individual investors account for almost 75% of rental properties? As an individual landlord, retaining happy tenants is crucial for maintaining a steady flow of income from rental properties. However, that is easier said than done. We, at Rent Remedy, think that renting is harder than it needs to be. We took input from landlords and tenants on what they want and what their pain points were. We summarized that information into these two statements. As a landlord, I want to manage my properties, lease agreements, and tenants efficiently while seamlessly receiving payments. As a tenant, I want to make a smooth transition into my new home and easily communicate any concerns with my landlord. In response, we built a system designed around these wants in order to make renting easier for landlords and tenants. Through an intuitive UI, landlords can use the Rent Remedy website to manage everything they need regarding their properties and tenants, with special consideration for messaging tenants and viewing the status of payments. Through a mobile app for Android or iOS, tenants can easily join and review lease agreements, send payments with one tap, message their landlord with any questions they have, and submit maintenance requests.
Our story begins with Tony Stark, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Tony wants to lease out some of his property to bring in another source of income. When Tony signs up with Rent Remedy, he is greeted with a notification that before he can receive payments, he must link his account with Stripe. He'll do that now so he doesn't have to worry about it later. The first thing Tony will need to do is create a property. This is where he will attach his lease agreements. The property includes basic information such as a name, description, and address. After creating his property, Tony can create lease agreements for each of the rooms he wants to lease out in that property. Lease agreements are the brains, which allows our automatic payment system to work the way it does. Here he can set the length of time for the lease, payment amounts, deposit amounts, and amenities or utilities included with the lease agreement. There's no use in having an empty property, so Tony can make an application form for his properties so potential tenants can apply. What is special about these application forms is the form link. Tony can copy this link and post it to existing websites such as Craigslist, apartments.com, or social media to receive applications. Peter Parker comes across one of these links and decides to apply to Tony's property. After a few days, Tony decides to review his applications. Here he can see an overview of the most important information from the application. Thanos looks like he might be good. Oh wait, he's been convicted of a felony. Maybe we can see why. Maybe not then. Peter seems like a good option, and he has no red flags, so Tony decides to invite him to join the property. Peter receives an email saying that he's been accepted to join Tony's property. As the email says, he downloads the Rent Remedy app and inputs the short code found in his email to find the property. He reviews his lease agreement, enters in payment information, and can now chat with his landlord. Tony chats with his tenant, and when he is sure he wants Peter as a tenant, he signs the lease agreement. Now that the lease agreement has been signed by both parties, Peter can begin to pay rent. As he pays, he receives notifications letting him know that his payments have been received. As Peter's payment date is coming closer, he receives automatic messages to remind him to pay. After Peter moves in, he notices that the dishwasher stops working, so he submits a maintenance request to Tony. From Tony's side, he can review maintenance requests. If a maintenance request isn't applicable, he can cancel it. Tony can give a projected completion date to Peter, so Peter knows when the request will likely be done. And finally, when the maintenance request is complete, Tony can mark it as completed. Throughout the duration of his lease agreements, Tony can chat with his tenants, resolving any questions that arise. At any time, Tony can review his aggregated payments. Here, he can see how many of his payments are submitted, expected, late, or forgiven. If he wants a more granular view, he can view an entire list of payments. The lease agreement between Tony and Peter ended on good terms. However, Tony's next tenant, Natasha, had to move away unexpectedly and terminate the lease agreement early. Natasha submits a termination request, and after paying the termination fee and any applicable remaining payments, she is free to leave. When a lease agreement is ended, whether it be early or on normal terms, the tenant has the option to submit a review of their landlord, allowing users who apply in the future to see an estimate of how well their potential new landlord is received. Here, Tony can continue the cycle of getting tenants, answering questions, completing maintenance requests, and getting paid.
Our tech stack consists of a wide range of technologies. The mobile front end is built with Flutter, the web front end is built with React, our backend is built with ASP.NET Core APIs, and we use MongoDB for our database. We host our backend and a web server in Google Cloud, while we host our database on Mongo Atlas. We integrate with Stripe for payments and SendGrid for email services. To facilitate updating time-sensitive data, we use the Google Cloud Scheduler to perform jobs at certain time intervals. Additionally, we allow for Google sign-in through the OAuth 2.0 protocol. Over the course of 16 weeks, we had meetings at least twice a week to discuss our progress, roadblocks, and plans. We've completed 107 GitHub issues, completed 54 API endpoints with documentation on Swagger, and conducted user studies over several users with backgrounds as landlords, tenants, and neither. The feedback from the user studies allowed us to prioritize features such as aggregated payment information and image uploading.
We built Rent Remedy with the goal to make renting easier for landlords and tenants. Our wide range of features covers everything a landlord and tenant would need. Landlords can manage their properties and tenants efficiently and receive rent payments. Tenants can smoothly transition into their new home and message the landlord or submit maintenance requests if any problems come up. We are Rent Remedy, and this has been our capstone project for the University of Utah. Thank you.